Shalom, Yashrala. This is your brother Dawada from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. I don't want to touch on this topic real quick. As I see it, this here same principle pops up, a lot of the times in the so-called black community, even when it comes to finding out about the truth and becoming an Israelite, over at IUIC, this is one of their big things is building a so-called black community, But, in this process as Jake is waking up and or, they hungry and starving for so-called truth, they know they're looking for truth, but they just don't know, where to find the truth, So-called Jake is getting Jake is getting so-called enlightened, in certain things, and one of the things they're getting hip to is, basically they're just sobering up from a cloudy mind. Let's just stop buying rims and let's try to so-called progress and build a black community or build black wealth and things like that, And people have these kind of debates on what the so-called black community need to do and bring their money together and blah, 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 to get black economics going, and, a lot of the times when you have these people talk about these types of things, it's all frustrating, well, it's not really frustrating, but when you go down all these paths and everything like that, you wind up, when you go into, there was a documentary I was looking at, it was called A Color of Money, and it was breaking down, not really the statistics of black people money and stuff like that, but the differences in why, black people they never gonna be on the same level or nowhere near so-called white people when it comes to economically being alright over here because of the way the system was set up and all these so-called government programs that was set up for white people, going about these treaties that in Esau and his unfair dealings and his broken treaties and things like that, unfair dealings and things like that, stealing the land from the Gadites, you know what I'm saying, and giving away free housing and stuff like that to their Edomite components, But nevertheless, these so-called intelligent Jakes, they want to sit up here on these panels and things like that and talk about what we need to do economically and these other people and stuff like that, This is why it's important, you have all this, how do I say, energy for trying to, push so-called truth and lead our people into something positive, and you need to come to the truth, the real truth, you know what I'm saying? And, you're spending a lot of time and effort, and you got a so-called sane mind to be able to look into all that shit, because it's all like so-called statistically based. But at the end of the day, I mean, what y'all not realizing is you in a trap, you fucked, you under curses. All right, so that's what this here lesson is going to be about, for these so-called black people. All right, you know what I'm saying? This should be the end all be all about building a black community. What we need to do as black people to come together. There's nothing we can do as black people. Matter of fact, there's two things we can do as black people. Okay, so-called black people, and this actually go for all the tribes, but it's normally said for black people. But, well, for all the tribes, like the scriptures say, one thing we could all do, we could all face the east and we could all call out to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, and pray to him. And he'll come and deliver us that day, like the scriptures say. All right. And then the other thing we can do, which the Lord said, the first thing I just said, y'all ain't gonna do this shit. Y'all gonna wind up doing this anyway. Y'all gonna not take heed to the word. And then you're gonna wind up just having to learn by death by pain, after death by pain, you're going to have the 2/3 that's just not going to get it. They're going to want to keep going their own way and believing in Kemet and just put your money together, brother. Let's get black banking and black communities and raise up black this, black that, come together. Like, look, man, y'all just are united around this here dollar bill inside another man's kingdom, bro. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have that so-called king-like mentality. I call it the LeBron James effect, You, Jake, always wanting to be LeBron James, you know what I'm saying? Oh, LeBron James is the dude, he balling, he got the money, blah, 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 blah. But like, you're not realizing that there's somebody that write LeBron James check. How about being him? All right? Or how about being a league owner? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, our people always, shoot themselves real short for a lot of things, But nevertheless, the Bible covers all, how do I say, all these topics that mainly you, Jake, and the rest of you people of the world really be discussing. But with the things that Jake come up with, not really to come up with, because this is the most I was doing anyway. They just waking up to some kind of truth. You know, they was already dumb and docile. They didn't give a fuck about nothing that wasn't twerking. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden you got this explosion. All right, let me touch on that real quick. You have this explosion of people looking for knowledge. Where is it at? I think it's Daniel 12. Yep, Daniel 12:4 says, "But thou, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end." All right, and that's where we at now. All right, and sealing up the book mean the prophecies wasn't gonna be understood. You know, no, like up until now, you know, Ezekiel 37 is taking place, the Valley of the Dry Bones. All right, and also in this process, hang on, let me just read this. This is verse Daniel 12:4. But thou, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the books, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. All right. So, oh wait, I just thought of another precept too that goes to this. Damn. But nevertheless, that's the process and the time that we in. You know. So there's a spirit out there amongst all people. Let me read this verse 4 again. I'll look for that other precept. It says, Daniel 12:4, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." All right. Damn. Nevertheless, I'll just read this and just get to the point. But it says, Daniel 12:10, "Many shall be purified." Let me go up one. Verse 9. And he said, "Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand." All right. And so it says many shall be purified. All right. That's that Ezekiel 37 coming to pass. All right. The Valley of the Dry Bones. All right. The Lord told Ezekiel to prophesy unto the dry bones. All right. Now, metaphorically speaking, that the words of those the words of the prophecies that fell on those dry bones, that was received by those dry bones, those basically bags of dry bones got up and received, you know, life again, basically, you know. But then you have other ones that decided to just be stubborn. All right, that's going into come out of her, my people. All right, that you be not partakers of her sin, and flee out of the midst of Babylon. You know, and though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. You're going to have some of our people who still want to be Babylonianized. They still want to be, you know, all up in this thing. They want to be hand in hand with Esau. They basically got a Stockholm syndrome, you know. That's one of the biggest flaws with our people, is the fact of, you know, we like to think of ourselves as you know, we all equal. You know, I'll give you a quick example in a story, you know. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, right? So at a point in time in my life, I moved here to Florida, right? So, and I had never been around this type of environment and things like this. So I had to learn a whole new, you know, background as I was growing up, you know. But I heard on the TV and the commercials and stuff like that, people telling me, you know, oh shit, I'm about to go to the beach, whatever, whatnot. You know, everybody always say, remember when you go to the beach, get your sunblock, your sunscreen, you know. And they never said, you know, to, you know, attention white people or attention black people, attention Mexicans, attention Chinese. They just blatantly said, hey man, when you go to the beach, get your sunblock, your sunscreen. So what I do? Go get my sunblock, sunscreen. Now I'm at the beach and everybody looking at me like, who is this motherfucker on the beach? And what planet did he come from? Don't he not know that he don't need this? He just like a straight fool over there sweating that shit off. You know what I'm saying? They're like, damn, look at this dinosaur come up out the water. You know? But nobody had explained to me that they was talking to white people because they needed that from protection from the sun killing their ass. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, and that's that skin curse basically. You know what I'm saying? That the Most High put on them called leprosy, according to the scriptures. All right? But nevertheless, you know, a lot of the times, all the time, we have to deal with just like how we used to deal with it back in the scriptures, all right, or back in the old days. You know what I'm saying? We always dealt upon with nations, just like how the Most High deal. He deal with nations of people. All right, you can have a situation where one motherfucker fuck up, but the whole nation get it. All right, or a couple motherfuckers in the nation go off, and the whole nation get it. It's just not like really like one individual or whatever, whatnot. You know, so and a lot of times when you read in the scriptures, they always reference things by the people, by nations. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you know, a lot of times when you talk about the Israelites, it's almost like an open forum because it was from us to us. But they would say like brethren and stuff like that. How do you say, pointing out that they was of one stock. But then they would also go into these other nations, from other, the Syrians, the Babylonians, this and that, referencing them like that. They never integrated themselves and say, oh well, the Most High said we supposed to do this, so all these nations supposed to do that. No, we had different laws and customs, even though we was living amongst other people. All right. So the same way here, and so our people now, our measuring stick is up against the so-called white man. We think we made it when we in their neighborhoods, living in their neighborhoods, eating from their grocery stores, got our kids in with their kids, and our money look like they money. I'm like, nah, bro, it's not the same, bro. We not the same, not on the same level, nowhere near each other. So, and, a lot of our people fall because of that, because they see certain things that the so-called white man got and whatnot, think they can go do it that way and wind up killing themselves trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? White man's got a big, nice house, this, and that, and some cars, and blah, 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 blah. Y'all work at the same job, so you go pull out a loan. Now you broke as fuck, not knowing he inherited that house and that land, or, 100,000 when he was a child. So the shit been paid off. He ain't making no house payments. So that's why he got the Corvette and the big shit, and you don't. And you over here trying to get the same shit he got, because y'all at the same desk. You know what I'm saying? Yo, this shit's not built like that, all right? This is different for us. We are not our hell and our punishment and in heaven, all right? So you have to understand that, and like the scripture said, come out of her, my people, be not partakers of her sins, and that goes on all kind of different ways, basically, ultimately mean, look, come back to your heritage, come back to the law, statutes, commandments. Everything else, all those other things fall up under just that right there, come back to the law, statutes, commandments, come back to your heritage, all right? So we're going to jump over to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, because, I want to give a background to this, to how do I say, answer that age-old question at the so-called black community table. The heads of the black community came together, like, all right, we realize we got us a problem. All right, we realize we at war, we being dominated by the white man, right? We're going to come together. We didn't gather up all black people, unified all black people from different sectors. Now we here at this panel, evaluating what's going on. What are we going to do about it? We got to band together and build up our own little place, our own little Black Wall Street type of shit, and so on and so forth, And these so-called smart, intelligent people don't ever realize who they fucking with, but they don't realize who they fucking with. Like, yo, well, he built these systems, blah, 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 blah. He crazy, stole every damn thing, this, and that. But we need to go build our own little, state or whatever with our own little financial system and just, cut ourselves off. Like, so nigga, you gonna be an autonomous nation in the midst of this big ass nation and think you finna run some shit with his military around you and you ain't got no military. How you gonna trade and where you gonna get shit from? You surrounded by this damn devil who already don't like you. You just made it easier for his ass to dominate on your ass. Our people don't think these things through because they don't understand how deep, not to say, well, yeah, how deep it is and how spiritual this is, bro. There's no running from this, all right? That's why these scriptures are here, to give us all the answers that we need, all right? Instead of trying to go out and do some, oh, man, let me just get to the scriptures, man. Let me just read one, and then I'm going to go back. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again by ships, by the way whereof I spake unto you. All right, so the Most High said, you know what I'm saying? Now I might actually get back to touch to this verse, but the Most High here is saying, look, bro, I'm doing this. I'm going to bring you over here. So if I brought you over here, who the fuck going to bring you up out of here? All right, well, if I brought you here, how you going to escape that? How you going to change my will because you want something different, bro? That's what you really up against, all right? It says, Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So I just want to touch on the no man shall buy you part, you know what I'm saying? So, sitting at this here black coalition table as we trying to figure out what we're going to do as black people, but you have to understand that. You have to understand you up under these here curses, all right? You have to understand who you are as a people before you can try to move forward and see what you're really up against, because so right now, you basically defending yourself or trying to defend yourself against the so-called white man. When you start doing these certain things in situations like that, now you fighting against the Most High. All right, because your ass is in captivity and you think you finna try to just, you know what I'm saying, think your way up out of this some kind of way, man. That's the portion of no man shall buy you. Yahweh Shah is our redeemer, all right? He gonna come and bring us out with a stretched forth arm, all right? And he said he tread the wine press alone. All right, so I don't really understand how you think you're gonna sit down and formulate these things. I ain't gonna say you so smart, because yeah, you got some intelligence, but not the right kind of intelligence. You got basically Stockholm syndrome type of shit. Master over here beating us. We're gonna run away, but we're gonna just run away to the end of the plantation and just mark out a little spot in the middle of the corner, and we're gonna still show up to work. I'm like, nigga, you, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Now you done brought some responsibilities on yourself. You gotta take care of yourself and still show up to work. You see what I'm saying? You done made it 1,000 times worse on your ass. All right. So this is the book of Deuteronomy 28. I'm gonna read verse 15. It says, and this is what our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, need to understand about our condition that we in. All right. I know it's gonna sound fucked up to you off rip. That's the white man book. And see, I told you the white man will make you want to believe that God said you a slave and you gotta serve the white man. You know what? That is fucked up that the white man will tell us some shit like that. And yes, but that's actually what the fuck happened. All right, that's actually what the fuck done happened. But you know what? Good news. We at the end of this shit. So you don't gotta know that shit and be up under this shit for so long and trying to see if it's for real or not. We at the end of this where everything is being revealed, just like we read in the book of Daniel. Shut up the words of this book, meaning you ain't gonna understand what's going on, all right, until the end of the times. Then knowledge is gonna be increased, all right? And so, and many gonna be made purified or made purified and white, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on now, all right? Deuteronomy 28 and 15, it says, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So the Most High said, look, you know what I'm saying? Hey. And our people don't really see this side of the Most High, you know, or they hear about him like, oh, that's the Old Testament God. He was vengeful, this and that. Nah, he a just God. You know what I'm saying? Let me get one precept real quick. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 4. It says, he is the rock. Speaking of the Most High, it says, he is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. All right. So think about that. Think about every time you make a fucked up decision. You know, my dad was like, my father's like this. You know, every time when I was a little kid, he would make me feel so small by whenever I would fuck up something in life. You know what I'm saying? Just certain shit that he said to me just made me just feel so goddamn small and just like, damn, bro, I'd have really fucked up with some dumb shit. Now, well, what you thought was going to happen? Well, you did this and you did that. And then, what'd you expect to happen? You know what I'm saying? So in a sense, he was, instilling in me judgment, all right, and discernment, to be able to judge and discern what the hell going on and be able to accept the judgment that happened. Problem, action, reaction, all right? So if you do this and to that, then something else is going to come out of that, all right? You got to be able to be willing to accept that, all right? So verse 4 again, Deuteronomy 32 and 4 says, he is the rock, all right? Shit. It says, he is the rock. His work is perfect. All right. So what's going to make him perfect? For all his ways are judgment. All right. So think about you doing that in your real life. You know, people say, oh, you can't judge nobody, but as human beings, 99.9% of your life, all right, is making judgment calls. All right. What time I'm going to get up? Which way I'm going to go? Left or right? Which spoon or fork I'm going to pick up? What glass I'm going to pull out the refrigerator or out the cabinet? What am I going to do right now? What clothes am I going to put on? What am I going to do here? What am I going to do there? Am I going to hit the snooze again? These are all judgment calls. All right. A lot of the times people make bad judgment calls. Bro, I hit the snooze button too many times. Now I'm late for work. All right. You didn't judge that properly. If you would have judged it properly, you would have just got up on time when you set the clock and you would have been at work on time. All right. So it says, Deuteronomy 32 and 4 says, he is the rock, for his work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a power of truth and without iniquity. So he don't lie to himself like a lot of our people do. We lie to ourselves about crazy shit. Oh, we could be right next to the white man. We don't want to accept the truth of what's going on. All right, we want to try to make up our own shit and our own things, prophesy unto us smooth things, because we got them itching ears. We just want to hear what make us feel good. All right. It says a power of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. All right. Let me read verse 5 just to show you the difference, you know, between us and him and where we at now. It says, they, speaking about, you know, the children of Israel, they have corrupted. All right. Y'all got all fucked up, bro. Bro, how the hell did you come up by putting some banana pudding inside your gas tank? Like, you corrupted the whole shit. Now I done heard of motherfuckers doing some dumb shit. You done got fucked around, got some water in the gas tank, some oil in the gas tank, but banana pudding, you wasn't judging. Bro, what the fuck was you thinking? Your car ain't hungry. Not that kind of hungry. Like, why would you even think of some shit like that? You see what I'm saying? That's the condition of where we at now. All right? Because look, why? The Most High told us what kind of gas to put in the car. That's what we're reading in Deuteronomy 28. Look, that's the deal, bro. You do this, do that. You take care of your car. Change the oil every 3,000 miles. Put premium gas in it all the time. Get your tires rotated. Get your tune up at this amount of miles. And you'll be straight. Everything will be all right. But what we want to go do, we want to go put some 87 off in there. You know what I'm saying? Say, fuck the oil change. You know what I'm saying? And putting banana pudding in the gas tank. And so we expect we're going to get the same nice driving perfect Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? To perform the same way when we did all this kind of fuck shit to it. And then we complain to the manufacturer because y'all got a shitty car, bro. What's wrong with this? Y'all got to give me something better than that. I don't know why everything's crazy. You know, that's exactly what we doing here. The Most High is correct. He judged everything. He perfect. He guided us, gave us the law, statutes, commandments, told us how to live a right and justly life. But what we do, we corrupted ourselves, man. We done went off. All right. We wanted to be like these heathen, just like what we doing right now. All right. So going back to, you know, because when you read from Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, all right, that's all the things he said he was going to do for us, all right? But I'm going to read from verse 15 on down again. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." So that's where we at now. We under these curses, all right? So, you know, when I say, you know, as long as we try to defend ourselves from this so-called white man by being, you know, being circumspect and discerning his bullshit ways, you know what I'm saying? And walking in truth at the Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, you know, we only on a defense. That's all we gotta do is keep defending ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Not really, we just stay in the truth. The Lord will defend us and wait patiently until Yahweh Shah return, you know? But on the flip side, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we can go build us a black community. You know, we can try to defend ourselves, more or less to say, and try to, you know, come up against Esau in whatever type of way, not even like with guns and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the black community, we trying to build a black community. Well, you know, you think you're coming up against Esau, but you're coming up against the Most High, because his plan is your ass in captivity till he send Yahushua to deliver your ass. All right. So these are some of the curses we would be under. All right. It says, "Curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field." All right. So keeping in the context that this is our condition that we at now. All right, how you going to reverse these effects on your own? Because you just became privy to, damn, so-called white man got us in this bullshit ass system where we can't never come up. Or why don't we put our money together and you know, pull a Marcus Garvey or you know, a Black Wall Street, a Rosewood, you know, pull one of them bad boys. You know, when we start thinking about these things, we also got to go back to the scriptures, knowing who we are first and foremost. We the people of the book. All right, the children of the book, man. We the people that we read about in these scriptures, these people that's going to be under these curses until Yahweh shall return, all right? So it says, "Curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field," all right? Hey, that's where, you know, mainly talking about income and jobs and, you know, the wealth inequality and stuff like that, you know? Hey, the Most High say you're going to be in that fucked up position, bro. So if you can get around that, you don't need Yahweh shall to return. You don't need his salvation, and, you know, you don't really need the Most High because you're more powerful than him, because you can break his will. All right, so just keep that in the back of your mind when you're trying to fight against this, saying, "Oh, you just being negative and this and that or whatever, whatnot," you know, because a lot of people will come back with that. But it's not. This is just being in reality, bro. I mean, I'm being positive. Hey, I'm rejoicing at our deliverance right now. You know, like that's happening right now. You over here talking about some little petty ass little money. We finna get these motherfuckers in captivity, the most important human resource. Fuck the money. You know what I'm saying? One of them Rockefellers said, "Give me the money and I care who lets write the rules." You know what I'm saying? The Israelites, we way better than that. Give me the people and I'll give fuck what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? As long as I control all y'all, I'm in control of the money and all the resources thereof. Right? So it says, and you know, that's a righteous thing real quick, not to go too far off topic. You know, some people be like, "What you talking about?" This is Psalms 2 and 4 or 8. Psalms 2 and 8. "Ask of me and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession." So let me just read verse 9. "Thou shalt break them with the rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel." So, you know, you're not going to just get them to lead them and be able to teach them certain things. Now, you're going to get them as a human resource to do whatever the fuck you want with them. All right. You can break them and break them like with a rod of iron, you know what I'm saying? Like a clay vessel. Put these motherfuckers to work, do whatever, just like they did to us. You know, they was over here hanging and lynching us. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, going back into the topic in Deuteronomy 28. verse 17, it says, verse 16, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. All right. So going still into this economic side of it. All right. Now, your basket and your store, well, what is your basket? You know what I'm saying? Let's say you going through the field and you picking like apples off a tree. All right. However many apples you can fit into the little basket, you got like a little picnic basket. That's basically your resource or your money that you can fit. That's just like your wallet, you know. I can only fit X amount of dollars in my wallet, you know what I'm saying? But what? The store, all right, is basically like what? That big warehouse full of your grains and stuff like that. Or modern day time, the bank account, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? For the analogy of the basket is how much money you got in your let's just say you got a wadded up in a wad inside your pants pocket. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to carry like, you know, a couple $1,000s on you, but you try to walk around with like 100,000, all right, in cash on you. That's too big. You need to put that in the storehouse, use a card, a debit card or some shit like that, you know? But the Most High says you're going to be cursing these areas. You're going to be cursing your small income and in your large income. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be that so-called glass ceiling. All right. It says, Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind and the flock of thy sheep. So again, speaking on economics, curse be basically your resources where you're going to be getting your money from, you know, basically like saying curse you're going to be in the field, you know what I'm saying? But dealing with, let me just go back. Curse shall be the fruit of thy body. All right. The things that you produce. All right. Curse and the fruit of thy land, the things that your land produce. All right, and the increases the con and the flocks of thy sheep. So your animal production, you know what I'm saying? That's your big money, your big money market right there. You know what I'm saying? You got your animals that reproduce, you know, not only like meats and things like that, but also, you know, sheeps and stuff like that for wool and stuff like that, but also sheep for not to say, well, yeah, manual labor and things like that, you know. But then you also got the fruits and the vegetables, also for food and medicine purposes and things like that. But then you also got your own, the fruit of your own body, you know. Maybe you a blacksmith or this person or that person, you know. Your animals and stuff can't make all of that. So, but everything you're gonna be doing is gonna be all cursed. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff gonna be taxed. You know. Prime example, the so-called the so-called Hispanics, you know, they out here in these nice neighborhoods building up all these houses, but what? They got the skill and the trait and the knowledge on how to do all that, but they can't build one for themselves. You see what I'm saying? Verse 19, cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. It says, Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, rebuke, and all thy settest thy hand to do, settest thy hand unto for to do, until thou beest destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doing whereby thou hast forsaken me. All right, I'm going to read that one more time. It says, Deuteronomy 28:20, it says, Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke. You know what I'm saying? Just look at look at any Jake male, you know what I'm saying? In the tribes, you know what I'm saying? They, like, not to say the sane ones, but the ones that's sane enough to know they're in captivity, you know? Man, fuck these goddamn crackers, man. They fucking with my money and this and that, you know what I'm saying? They cursing, they vex, and they rebuking motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, these motherfuckers always with the hypocrisy trying to take some money out of my check and whatever, whatnot, they raising this and that, blah, 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 blah. Hey, man, that's the condition that you're gonna constantly be in, you know? That's why you see, shit, look at a lot of the Northern Kingdom right now. You know what I'm saying? We come over here and we bust our ass and we work for these low-end jobs. Y'all still call us illegal immigrants. Y'all still talk shit to us, talking about go back to our own land. And this is our own land. Y'all need to go back to y'all land, you know? All these different things, you know? But nevertheless, it says, let me read, I guess from the top. Yahweh shall send upon thee curse and vexation, rebuke, and all thou settest thy hand for to do until thou beest destroyed. All right. So, but everything you was going to touch, you know how they say everything I touch turn to gold. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it might still turn to gold because Jake Duke got that in him still. But in the long run, it wound up crumbling on him. You know, Bill Cosby, everything he touched turned to gold. But look at him in the end, you know, that wound up being fool's gold, you know. But nevertheless, everything we was going to wind up touching was going to be a curse. Everything was going to be you know, not going to wind up working out for us. You know, even if, again, like you got the Bill Cosby deal going on, or you saved up some money and did this and did that. Black Wall Street. You see what I'm saying? But look how it ended, you know, when so-called black people get a little bit of money. Chris Rock, you know what I'm saying? He say, I'm rich and I still get pulled over and treated like a nigga and shit. You know what I'm saying? All these different things is happening because of why? You are under these curses and can't escape them. All right? Let me keep reading. It says, Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed it from consume thee from off the land whereas thou goest to possess it. Yahweh shall smite thee with the consumption, and with fever, and with the inflammation, and extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth under thee shall be iron. And Yahweh shall make the rain of thy land powder, and the dust from the heaven it shall come down upon thee till thou beest destroyed. All right, so again, speaking all on economic things, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, just like in California, you know, you got food and produce out there. If you ain't got no rain to water all of that, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no water, you ain't gonna be producing food. That food could be yours, you know, for you to sustain, and then it could also be for your trade and for you to get some kind of money, you know? But the Most High is basically saying, look, bro, as far as your finances and you getting up financially, it's not gonna work out for you. That's just not your role or your position here in this place. All right. Jumping down to verse 33, it says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. So thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes which thou shalt see. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why you see a lot of our people pissed off. And really, again, carnally speaking, only the same motherfucking Jake is tripping. You know what I'm saying? You see only, you know, man, you know, like at a job, you know what I'm saying? Like most jobs, people don't realize when you look at the low level positions at every job, it's always Jake at the bottom. Jake is making everything run. You know what I'm saying? Jake making all the shit pop off. You know what I'm saying? So, but what? They don't realize they the ones actually in power. But at the end of the day, some of them will be like, man, I'm over here doing all the damn work. You taking all the benefits, whatever, whatnot. They over there, how do you say, rebuking and how do I say, cursing, and they just mad for the shit that they, you know, they read verse 34. So thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes which thou shall see. All right, you gonna be in that position like, man, these motherfuckers ain't shit without me, and I can't wind up getting up. You know what I'm saying? I make these motherfuckers billions of dollars a year, and I can't even goddamn put, you know what I'm saying, more than 40,000 on my table at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff pissed Jake off. You know, a so-called sane Jake. You know. Let me jump down. It says, verse 37, and thou shalt become a proverb, Salaki, thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, a byword among all these nations whither so Yahweh leadeth thee. All right, now I ain't gonna speak on just the main ones that they always call us niggas, spicks, tontos, and shit like that. But as far as some of the rhetoric they speak, well, you know, if you just lace yourself up by the bootstraps or whatever, whatnot, try hard, go to school. I don't know why you guys are so poor or whatever, whatnot. It's genetically. Nah, it's not that. You know, well, it is genetically why we so poor, because we genetically got the DNA of the people that's under these curses that this apply to. So if you want to go with genetics and, you know, the so-called white man is more superior. Yeah, well, you more superior in this kingdom right now as far as when it comes to not being under curses. All right, by your DNA, because you don't have the DNA of an Israelite. We basically got chains on us right now, but the Lord is taking them chains off of us. All right, and so, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, that's how we're gonna wind up ending this here lesson off. But at the point in time we at now, we basically still on those chains. We got a boundary where we can go. All right, we not meant to thrive in this society or this country over here. All right, so I'm gonna read verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field. Thou shalt gather but little. Thou shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant a vineyard and dress them. But thou shalt neither drink of the wine, nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coasts, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine olive shall cast its fruits. All right. And so what is that talking about? You know, like I was explaining, you the ones, you know, you Jakes is the ones that's building up every damn thing, but not taking none of the credit for nothing. You know, you go into any factory, any warehouse, any store, restaurant, whatever, whatnot. Jake is the one. All right. So for instance, let's say you go to Applebee's, you know, a so-called American restaurant. You know, when you go in the kitchen, there's a bunch of so-called Mexicans up in there. All right. When you go get your so-called nice big white American house made, you know, or in a white people neighborhood and stuff like that. Well, a bunch of Mexicans built that. You know what I'm saying? When you talking shit about the ghettos and where Mexicans live, well, they're just so dirty. Look at their upkeep. They just couldn't make this. But they the ones building your house. You see what I'm saying? So when you really look at it, Jake is the one that's doing all these things, but they're not reaping none of the benefits from it. You know, they just sitting over here. How do I say? Let me see, because the scripture also said again. I can read that too. Verse 48, therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed thee. So yeah, the Lord did say the white man was going to put us in captivity. He did say he was going to put us into slavery, you know, but that was actually the Most High said that he himself was finna put our ass into slavery, and he was going to use the so-called white man to be our goddamn overseer. But it wasn't the fact that he said that, oh, you know, prophecy is going to just happen, that the white man going to become bigger, stronger, whatever than you, and he going to put you in captivity. You just got to deal with it. No, that was our punishment. That's the goddamn guard keeper that Most High sat in front of us. All right. Because they actually speak about that in verse 49 and 50. But continuing on, damn, I can read that too. Let me read verse 55. So that he will not give, this is talking about, you know, brethren towards brethren, the so-called affairs of the social affairs of the people, you know, how they act towards one another, not their financial issues no more. But it says, so he will not give any of, let me read verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom, towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. You know, talking about our divorces and things like that, the divorce rates, baby mamas and stuff like that. Verse 55. So he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children in whom he shall eat. All right. So because he has nothing left in the siege and the straightness wherewith the enemies shall distress thee in the gates. So basically, you know what I'm saying? Fast forward into today's times, you know, the man ain't got shit to give to his kids because of why? Child support, alimony, and all these things in the system that's got us all fucked up to where Jake ain't really got no resources to hand down to their kids. All right. The male Jake ain't got none. And plus they all separated anyway. And then the mama then put the words into the baby mouth. Now the baby hate the father anyway. All right. And also the father eating of the, it says, so that he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat. What does it mean by he gonna eat his children? You know, he's eating his children by what? Eating up off of their resources. Sometimes the kids got to take care of their parents. But then again, at the same time, sometimes these parents are sitting over here, how do I say, forking over the bill to take care of their damn kids, you know? You know, in an older age, not at a young age, obviously. But let me jump down. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna just jump to the next precept out of that, just setting up as far as the curses that we will be under. All right, this is the book of Haggai, chapter 1. I'm gonna start at verse 5. It says, you know, the Most High said that those things was gonna come to pass. All right, now what is he saying here? You know, and this is the same thing I'm saying to you right now. Haggai 1 and 5. Now therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. All right, now. We at the table with the so-called black community, the head of the so-called black community, and I got my seat, they got their seat, and I'm just like, yo, look, I'm reading out the Bible. Now consider your ways. You know, are you not under these conditions? Are you not suffering from these? You know, if you suffer from, you know, can't get over the white man and this and that, and these problems and those problems, call us up right now. You know, we got a you know, a new trial solution for you. It's called Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know. But nevertheless, that's where we at now. All right. So we at the so-called black community table. You know, the Lord is sending his prophets out to talk to the rest of the people. All right. It says, now, therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. All right. Are you not the same way? It says, you sow much and bring in little. All right. So when you out in the fields, let's look at it this way. You in the fields and you've been planting all damn day. You done planted 10 rows of, let's say, tomatoes. Now, when it's time to harvest all of that, you only got back 3 rows. All right. Same way as a principal statement, like, yo, you work all these hours and this and that, you still behind paycheck to paycheck. You know, you work way more than a regular ass Edomite in his 40 hours. You work double that and you still behind on bills. All right. Even though his house costs more than yours, his cars cost more than yours, you ain't even got no car. All right. And you working way more hours than him. You still paycheck to paycheck, but he ain't. All right. It says, you have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but have not enough. You drink, but are not filled with drink. You clothe ye clothe you, but there is no warm. And he that earneth wages to put them in a bag with holes. All right. So basically, you ain't never satisfied, or not satisfied in a proud way, like you just greedy, but like you you don't have quite enough. And again, I mean that not in a greedy sense of fashion, you know. It's like, all right, you know how people say you got a gas guzzling car. Some cars just be overdoing it. Yeah, you got a fucking H5, big ass tank rolling down the street, and you don't need all of that. You know what I'm saying? To get from point A to point B. That's a gas guzzler. That's greedy. All right, but then now you got a little, you know, a real good economically you know, straight car on gas mileage, you know what I'm saying? Oh shit, I get a lot of miles per gallon with this car, you know what I'm saying? But you only put $1 worth of gas in, you don't got enough gas, even though that shit don't take up enough gas, it's just not enough. So you're not satisfied with what you got, all right? So it's not that the car is just a gas guzzler, it's just that you didn't put enough gas in there. That's the same way with our situation, bro. We do all the extra this and all the extra that, but we'll never have enough. All right, we still paycheck to paycheck. We never quite good enough, no matter how good or how perfect we try to live our life or get up out the hood or do certain things in certain right ways. It's just never good enough. We're going to always be back in these situations because of why? We under the curses, all right? It says, hey, the very end of that says, he that earneth wages to put them in a bag with holes. Like I was saying, paycheck to paycheck, you know? Let me continue on. It says, for thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountains and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith Yahweh. You look for much, and lo, it came to little, and when you brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith Yahweh of hosts, because of my house that is waste, you run every man to his own house. Therefore the heavens over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from the fruit. And I call for a drought in the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of hands. So the Most High is slowing all these things down and making it hard for us. He's adding the weight on our back because of why? We don't listen to the law, statutes, commandments. That's why it's so hard on us. That's why we experiencing these problems and situations. All right. Let me go to Micah chapter 2. Try to hurry up and get through this so I don't get cut off. This is all right, yeah. This is Micah 2:1. It says, woe to them that deviseth iniquity and worketh evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is the power of their hands. Speaking on Esau, Edom, the so-called white man always doing wicked ass shit, being the damn devil. All right, verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. All right, so you know, that's what Esau do. He wanted coveting fields and taking them away, invading lands. How they call it? Regime change. You know, taking the resources. All right, taking America and setting up their own ways to get all the resources and have the people follow after them. And then they do what to the people? Enslave them, oppress them. All right, that's the conditions we in now because of the curses that the Most High how do I say ordained that we would be up under. All right, let me go to Deuteronomy. But nevertheless, we're in a transitional time. This Deuteronomy 30:7, it says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and upon them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So actually, instead of rebuilding the community, the so-called black community, this is the thing that we got to do is patiently wait and push the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. Because all the curses that we screaming and pissed off about that we up under now, why can't we come up? All of these curses is being moved on the so-called white man. All right, so the Most High has already got everything in motion, working like how he wanted to work. All right, let me grab this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5. I'm gonna start at the first verse. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such which have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. All right, so multifold there. All right, that's what the men of the Lord is out there doing right now. Instead of trying to have these debates with the so-called white man and have them be inclusive with the so-called black community debates and how we get better and we need to seek out this and have treaties with them. Now we standing in his face boldly on the highways and the byways, telling them, you know, we're going well, we don't have time for that, but he going into slavery, all right, and things like that, you know, telling him he got to pay up everything he didn't swallow down, all right. That's standing in his face boldly, all right. But what it's at the end it says, and so stand in the face of such as has afflicted him and made no account of his labors. All right, us out here working as slaves for multiple hundreds of years. All right, and not getting paid, and then they need a removal act and selling their land. You know, evicting them off of their land. You stealing it and giving it to your people for free. All right, you making no account of our labors, but then you call us poor and all this and that, talking about how y'all are all up at the top. Y'all was giving all the things that y'all got, the new deal, the GI Bill, certain housing situations, all right, with your loans and stuff like that, all right. But you don't make no account of our labor, all the hard work we did, and all the times you done fucked us over. You don't ever make no accounts of that. But what? The Most High has got your number. You're gonna have to pay back anyway, all right. Let me see. Let me just read verse 8. It says, "What have profited us, or what hath riches with our vaunting brought us?" All right. So, for time's sake, I'm not gonna read that, but no, let me just read it. Lord willing, this don't cut off. Verse 2: "When they see it, they shall be troubled and with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. And they, repenting and groaning with anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, This is he whom we had sometimes in derision, a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life of madness, and his end without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot among the saints? Therefore we have erred in the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shone unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through the deserts where there lay no way. As for the way of Yahweh, we have not known it." Verse 8: "What hath pride profited us, or what hath riches with our vaunting brought us?" All right. So for our people trying to get all these riches to be like the so-called white man, the so-called white man needed all that stuff to satisfy himself, to make himself feel better than you. All right. He's still trying to be better than you while you in captivity and broke as fucking dumb as hell. He's still trying to be like you. All right. But you trying to get his fake ass money and assimilate to him, being on a small level scale. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see what's at hand, what the Most High got planned for you. All right. So real quick, hopefully we can get this out. This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 20. No, Salakia. Let me slow down. Job 20. In verse 9, it says, no. Oh, yeah, I'm going to read it. Job 20:9. "The eyes also," talking about the so-called white man, "the eyes also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods." You have these so-called white people with these forms. What can we do to even out the wage gap equality, and why niggas is poor? What can we do for that? That's what they doing now, trying to find ways to seek to please the poor and all these different things and make it better for black people, economically better. Because it's like, no, we don't want 40 acres in a mule. We don't want this, and we don't want no tax breaks, bro. We want your soul. We want your ass to be our slaves. We can get the rest of that shit with your ass. That's all we need is you. All right. It says, "His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their riches. And his hand shall restore their goods. His bones are full of sin from his youth, which shall lie down with him." So from his beginning, all he been doing is rape, robbery, and murder, and stealing, and getting things unjustly. "Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat in his bowels is turned, and gall of ass within him." All right. So, he a snake ass nigga, talking all light, you know what I'm saying? He a wolf in sheep clothing, but yet he about rape, robbery, and murder. You know what I'm saying? Verse 15: "He hath swallowed down riches, he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly." All right. So, all these riches, all these resources, everything he got on the earth, that gap equality that wage gap, wealth equality gap. Talk about between the so-called black man and the so-called white man. Fuck all that, man. He about to give up the whole planet Earth. All right. And the rulership thereof. All right. Verse 18: "That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to the substance shall be the restitution. He shall not rejoice therein." All right. Because he hath oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away a house which he builded not. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? The Most High said, look, man, homeboy gonna wind up vomiting up all these resources, all these things you just stole from the planet Earth and all these other people, and that's where we're gonna wind up getting our so-called wealth equality from. All right. Let me read this. Isaiah 60 and verse 4 says, "Lift up thy eyes round about." And this is where we're going to get out the transfer of wealth at. Isaiah 60 and 4, "Lift up thy eyes round about and see all they gather themselves together, they come to see thee. Thy sons shall come from afar, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then shalt thou see and flow together, thy heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee, and the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dormities of Midian and the ephah and from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praise of Yahweh. All right. So, and they keep going on, down there. But nevertheless, you gonna have these people. Let me read verse 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually; they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and their kings might be brought. That number one resource, human resources, but it's going to be open 24 hours like Walmart. You know how Jake is in Walmart 24 hours a day, giving the Walmart family money, making them rich, giving them their money, their resources. All right. Whether it's their time, their labor, or whatever it is, they giving it all over to Esau. This is how the so-called white man is about to be in this real soon future. That's what's going on with the economy and everything. They throwing up everything now. All right. The Most High is about to give us that greatest transfer of wealth, man. Our gates ain't going to be ever closed. It's gonna be like Walmart, continuously getting all these things, man. We're gonna get these heathen. All right, the number one resource on the planet is human beings, man. All right, this is Psalms 2 and 8. It says, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. All right, that's gonna be where we get the transfer of wealth from. All right, that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for no money, none of this bullshit, because it's all going out the window anyway. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that taught me this truth. And salutation, much love for y'all, Kim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Stay strong. Shalom.